Hello, this video is all about the breath, all about breathing. And I just want you to just feel your breath. We'll just go into this straight away. Just feel your breath in this moment and feel your out breath without changing it, without making it different. Just accept it as it is and then let it go. Just that is the difference between being alive or not. So that magic breath, that life force, the prana, the energy that comes into you, and the exhalation that clears you, that takes out the unnecessary, is magic just by watching this one breath. And I just want you to notice in this just little look at our breathing, like how does it feel? And just to notice this thing that you do constantly that keeps you alive, that gives you all the energy and nourishment. And just by having this keen attention to it, how quickly we can affect a change on our being. You know, that being mindful of your breath, just by listening, watching, feeling your breath. Now, for me, for example, I've already noticed that I was breathing up in the upper echelons of my being. And within a few seconds, I was aware of the breath within my belly. And obviously, you know, I've had a lot of training in breath work, and I'm not saying that everybody will feel that or I'm extra good at it or anything. It's just that, you know, I've been playing with the breath for many years, and I suddenly remembered, my body remembered, and it just took me into my belly for a moment. And you know, the breathing in this upper part of the lungs, you know, the lungs go quite high up into the top of your body. And this breathing in just a small part of the lungs is very, very, very common. In fact, most of us breathe just by using a small capacity of the lungs. Now, in research I've looked at and read, it's my understanding that our breath can the way of our breath, the state of our breath, can change around the age of 5. And I thought about this, and I thought, well, it's the going to school, the more sedentary lifestyle coming in when you go to school as children. And studies have shown that that this is the case, and that's when shorter breaths begin there really. Now, shorter breathing is when big changes happen with shorter breaths. So, for example, we release more cortisol and adrenaline. Now, these are the stress hormones. So we with both of those, cortisol rising and adrenaline rising, now this then can affect your sleep. You know, those nights when you just can't sleep and you've had a lot on, or you feel wired, you know, the expression adrenalized. You're kind of whirring. You just can't shut your brain down, even though you might be really physically tired. So I think we've probably all felt those states of being. And what's happening here with these shorter breaths is we're changing from the parasympathetic nervous system to the sympathetic nervous system. Now, the parasympathetic is rest and repair, and the sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight. So that's where, in olden days, the hunters who are going out to catch their food, an animal to kill, and so they need to be able to run faster in order to kill that animal, to keep up. And so that's when the blood flow increases to the heart, so you can go faster, and the energy is taken out of the digestive space, out of digestion, to give you that boost to run, to go faster. But what's happening in our society quite extensively is that's happening because often we can be living in this fight or flight state quite frequently. And this can also influence the amygdala, which is within the brain, and it's the message receiving part of the brain. And so this then tells us that we're kind of in a war zone. We've got to be on edge. It's all very stressy. So, and then when this is the case, if we live in that state constantly or frequently, this is when autoimmune conditions can start, and inflammatory diseases can begin, and heart health is affected, can be affected. Now, this all sounds really negative, doesn't it? Like, because most of us, in times of our life, have long periods of stress, and all of us, with the period of time that we've just had, have been under differing stresses. So for some of us, it could be worried about your freedom, worried about the pandemic, the disease, worried about affecting somebody else, being affected by somebody else. A million stresses. Am I going to get ill? Are my loved ones going to get ill? So there's just a few, and we've all been in this state over the last few months with what's been going on in the world. So it all sounds very negative, doesn't it? As if, oh gosh, there's no hope. But actually, there's huge hope, and a key. If you just imagine a big key, now you have that. All of you have been practicing in some way or form with me over the years, and you know about the breath. So that's a huge step up, and we can change all of those the stresses and turn off and go back into the parasympathetic from the sympathetic nervous system, and we can change the effect on the amygdala in the brain very, very easily and simply. And you already all know how to do that just by the breath. So I'd like you to close your eyes now and just let all of that information just recede. And just let your natural breath come and go, just in your own timing, just as I said before, without making it deeper. Sometimes, though, when we start to look at the breath, a yawn or a deeper breath might just naturally come in. So allow that to be if it happens, but just breathe naturally. Just that gentle, relaxed breathing. And I'd like you to focus around the nose, the center of the face here, and breathe in through the face. And then breathe out through the face. And now I'd like you to breathe in through both of your nostrils and breathe out through both of your nostrils. Now, which do you find gives you more access to the breath? Now, personally, I find breathing in through the face just gives me so much more possibility. And it feels like the breath is more expansive somehow. And I feel more relaxed. But just try it. Just try, see what you feel. Now relax your jaw and your tongue. And within your ears. And now I want you to breathe in behind the nose. And out. And just start to notice the breath moving behind the nose. And watch the exhalation. Plenty of time for the new breath to come in. And out in your own rhythm. It's so important that it's your own rhythm. That's what helps us to relax. If we go straight into, keep going with the breathing behind the face, but say, for example, we go straight into a counting breath. It's my experience, where you hold your breath, for example. It's my experience that this brings in a level of tension. I think they're useful, very useful. We're going to have a look at one in a bit. But I feel that you just have to get into your natural breath first. And it takes time. So start to notice the breath behind the face and into the back of the skull, possibly. And just noticing where the air starts to move and expand into the back of your body. Because we're so often aware of the front of our body, our face, the chest, our front to the world. But actually, just feeling the air expanding into the back of the skull now. And wherever it starts to move to. So do you start to feel it in the back of the shoulders, in the back body? And I want you to just take this practice away and practice in your own time, just allowing the breath to develop all through the back of your being. Whether you're sitting, whether you're lying. I think that sitting, sitting on a raise can be really helpful. So the spine is long and tall. But it's also good to do lying down when you really want to let go. And, one of those days when enough is enough and you need to rest. And when you've done this practice for, possibly about 10 minutes, then I'd like you to breathe in for the count of 4 and breathe out for the count of 5. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'd like you to continue this for a minute or 2. And if you find that your exhalation wants to have a longer time, then you can take that count to 6 or 7 or even 8. But we don't want to be kind of like, desperate for that new breath. It needs to be soft. It needs to be gentle for the body to heal. And then when we have a longer exhalation, we are beginning to heal the body and switch off the stress, and the calm then starts to develop. So these are very, very simple breathing practices that I'd like you to play with. But the most important one is the breathing behind the face and into the back body for a while, at least 10 minutes before you do the counting. And I'm going to leave you with those and the information about the breath. And the breath is such an incredible thing. And it sustains us. And also, the breath is used to heal PTSD, with the people who've been really traumatized from, different things in their life. Those that have been at war, they use breathing practices, and the SAS, and in America the Navy SEALs, they all use breath practices to give them strength, clarity, and healing from trauma. So this is the big key that you have. And just remember that it also can help you make you look a lot younger than you are as well, the more breath work we do. So always a positive. So thank you for watching. Bye for now.